In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I make money and how I've been making money for the past 2 years and for the foreseeable future. I'm Pete. I've been a full-time entrepreneur and content creator for like 8 years, and this is it. This is exactly how I make money. I feel like it's kind of weird to say that and to show it off as that, but that's the truth. So let's dive in here. I'm a former content creator, and that was my business. Ads, affiliate marketing, digital product, courses, that sort of stuff. The past 2 years, I have been vibe coding apps and creating content about it. It's not just I vibe code and I launch apps and I'm a developer now. No, that's not it. I place small bets fast on these different businesses, these different products. I'm a one business, this is how I've grown my business type of guy. That's not what this video is. I'm an entrepreneur, I have multiple businesses, and I always have and I always will. And I plan for that, which I'll get to in just a second. But I place small bets. I move quickly. I try and figure out, is this going to work or not, very fast. And then I kill it or I keep it. I plan to get bored at 90 days. Again, just being super honest with myself. And I'll get into this. And I've made great money with this so far. So these steps right here, 1 through 6, are the actual framework that I'm literally doing every single day and have been for 2 years and been making great money. And then a step 0 right here, which we'll get into. Since I'm just doing GHs and I apparently need to drink more water, this is how I make money on the internet. Take it or leave it. All right, step 0 first, before I get into this. This is my framework for vibe coding apps and selling them, creating content. But I also have a much more long-term, forever strategy. And that is building in public, i.e. this video right here. This video that I'm making right here is an example of me trying to grow my forever audience. Maybe that's you. I try and build in public. And this will be around longer than any of these specific businesses that I'm starting, right? So I'm not a complete idiot. I am trying to set myself up for future success, even if this little framework right here that I'm about to share fails. Even if this business fails, this product fails, whatever that is, I am setting myself up for long-term growth. No, it's not as fast as if I tripled down on growing this YouTube channel, for example. I've only done 2 videos in the past 10 months, this being the second. I could probably grow faster, right? But it's not my primary way of making money. This is my primary way of making money. This is an afterthought almost, but it also does sell Code Playbook. So I created a course that teaches people how to do this on a technical level, and I sell it at Code Playbook. And so this will promote that. This will build my authority, sharing what I know, sharing what I've learned, sharing what I'm doing right now, today, to make money. It'll sell Code Playbook, and so that'll help too. So that's my step 0, if you will. All right, so let's dive into this. There's 6 steps to this this blueprint, if you will. Again, I've been doing this for 2 years. I never build anything without knowing, number 1, who is going to buy it, and number 2, can I reach those people? At this point, I have an asset. Maybe you don't have this asset, and maybe we'll talk about how you could get this asset. My asset is I have connections, and I have a personal brand audience. It's very small. It's been 5,000 people for 8 years. It hasn't grown, but I have an email list. I have a little bit of a social following. Not really, not a ton. But I also have friends, former partners, connections, other content creators I know that I could potentially partner to. So with those 2 things, my existing audience, creators and entrepreneurs, that's mostly what I build for, and any potential partners and their audience, if I can't find them, the audience, if I can't find that audience, the first 100 people to buy my thing, then I don't start, period. Again, that's an asset I have. If you don't have that, it's going to take a while, I think, building up an audience of your own first before you do any digital product, course, membership, apps, whatever. I think building your own audience is step number 1. If you don't have anything, if you don't have connections, and again, this could be offline too. If you are an accountant, you probably know other accountants. If you're a teacher, you probably know other teachers. And so there is an audience. I'm not saying you should target your coworkers per se, but I don't think I would recommend building an app, for sure, vibe coding an app, if you don't have a clear picture in your head of where that audience is. If you don't think you have what it takes to get the first 100 customers, do something different, right? That's my framework. You might have to adapt that based on your needs if you're trying to steal any of what I'm doing here. But I never build without knowing who will buy and without knowing I can reach those people. Warm audiences are the way to go. All right, number 2 in this framework, I'm an entrepreneur. I like to do different businesses. I get bored easily. I have shiny object syndrome. And so this comes naturally to me. Capturing ideas for products, ideas for businesses, full-on SaaS companies, or little bitty products that I could sell to somebody. I recommend getting in a habit of writing these down every single day. Even if you don't have them every single day, you will eventually, if you start writing down ideas every single day. Seth Godin goes over this in his own past. He used to meet with a group of guys in a room every week when he was in college, and all they did when they stepped in that room was brainstorm business ideas, period. It's a habit. It's a practice you can get into. I never struggle with product ideas. And there's 3 tips I have for you here. Number 1, scratch your own itch, especially if you have an existing audience of teachers, fishermen, parents, moms, whatever it is. Scratch your own itch first and foremost. Hopefully you are a part of that audience. I do fish a little bit, and I have major pain points here because I really stink at it. I'm a creator and entrepreneur, just like you watching this video. And so most of my product ideas are from my own pain points. It's another practice you can get into, cultivating this mindset of, oh, wait a minute, I'm struggling with something right now. Oh, wait a minute, this product that I want to sign up for is too expensive. Oh, wait a minute, oh, wait a minute, oh, wait a minute. Cultivating this on a daily basis, I think, is crucial for product. You don't ever want to let me come up with a business idea. That's terrible. That's the wrong way to do it. I think that's the complete opposite approach. Number 2, another tip for you, unbundling. I actually had to go look up when I was on my friend Nick's podcast because he stated this really well here. He said, unbundle tiny features from your favorite tools. Actually, I said this, and then he made it sound better. Instead of building a huge company, a huge business, a huge app, or whatever, focus on one feature. And Ahrefs is the perfect example because this is a tool, even if you don't use this, by the way, totally irrelevant. They have a million bajillion features, and it is totally viable to pick one feature from this big old app that's making bajillions of dollars and just do it. Just steal one feature. And again, if you work as an accountant, maybe your accounting department has some huge software that they've been using for 30 years and it has a million bajillion features. Maybe you could just spin off, maybe you could unbundle and just do one feature. Small product, small app, launch faster, easier to build. You see what I'm getting at here? Easier to explain and market to people. There you go. Unbundling. Last one right here. Rebuild a cheaper version of a popular software. This is the number 1 strategy for entrepreneurs who vibe code in 2025. I want to say this to the camera. The days of paying for software, any software, I don't care what it is, Google Workplace, anything, are rapidly coming to an end. 2 years from now, 5 years from now especially, we won't pay for software, period. We just won't, because we'll be able to build our own with Siri on our phones. With our Apple Watch, we will be able to build software. Or not, we don't even build software because AI will just do it for us, right? Whatever you use Ahrefs for here, you will not need to do 5 years from now. You won't need this 5 years from now. By the way, you won't need my stuff that I'm building 5 years from now because your watch will do it for you. Because you can go on your computer and just type in a system prompt in Apple, in Google, in Microsoft, on Twitter, whatever it is, and it's just going to build it for you, right? So I'm getting long-winded here, but the point is, any software that costs money these days is a prime opportunity for disruption. Maybe we could say that, right? Any product. In fact, this is me building this app right here you're looking at, Bulletfinity. Bulletfinity was because I didn't want to sign up for workflowy.com. I've used Workflowy, I've used Dynalist. These are infinite bullet point list apps. I use the free version. They're quite limited. I wanted to upgrade. It costs $9 a month, and I was like, I could just build my own. And right now, only crazy people like us are doing that. 5 years from now, this won't be an opportunity. So, rebuild a cheaper version of popular software. That's how to get ideas right there. All right, next up in my framework is specifically building to sell. I think this is very important. Starting a new company, especially, like a new business, rather than like a smaller product, but something you think might be its own separate entity, I think it is very important to plan for the long term. Now that sounds very obvious, but for me, it looks like building it to sell in roughly 12 months. Preferably even less, although a lot of brokerages say buyers want to see 12 months of data. I don't know if that's exactly true. It's probably a good place to start. I know myself. I get bored easily. I do have tons of ideas and shiny object syndromes. I hate marketing. I don't like it. I'm not a scaler. I'm a builder. I'm a early stage. I like to just build things. I don't care about marketing. I just hate it. Right? I know that about myself, and so I try to incorporate this into every new project I start. So, no emotional attachment. I try and make it completely separate from me, and actually, this is actually a really great strategy for sales as well, which I'll get to in just a moment. If I don't see myself I don't see myself working on anything more than 6 months, right? If I don't see an easy exit, I guess is what I'm trying to say, I don't start. If I can't let it be like really passive, and the number one passive thing to think about, by the way, is customer support. You can build an app and you can get some customers, but they're going to complain and they're going to find errors and bugs. I've experienced this firsthand for sure. Customer support is the one thing that keeps these vibe coded apps from being like completely passive. And it's something to keep in mind. If I can really make it passive, I'm okay with not building it to sell. But if I can't, I'm building it to sell. 6 months, 9 months, 12 months ish, maybe even up to 18, right? And this is new. I've totally made mistakes. The past 2 years, I've done a couple of exits, and I waited too long. Like I built them to be evergreen, permanent companies that continue to grow and scale, and that just wasn't me. And so handing it off to a buyer was a little bit more difficult because I let things slide. I didn't work on these projects as much as I should have. And now I have a much more exit-minded approach, I guess I could say, right? I plan on stopping after 6 months or 12 months. And if I really can't see that happening, I don't start the business. Moving on, MVP to MRR pipeline. So this is a little bit more granular what I do. Month one. This is more like 2 months. I don't know why I have month one, month two, month three, month four. It should just be 2 months. It's more like every 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks are slopping together the minimum viable product, right? Something. Bullfinity is coming up on the 2 week mark right now. And as you can see, I'm using it, but it's still got bugs. It's still got errors, but it's free. And I'm going to push it out to people this week. Alpha testers. I'll probably email it to my audience first because I have that asset. And I'll get some alpha testers, maybe like 20 people max, because they're going to find a lot of bugs, and I can't deal with more than that. And then the next couple of weeks, I would say, I try and do this before I lose interest. Again, I'm moving very fast. I do a public launch of some kind. In the past, I have used partners. I've reached out to friends of mine, partners of mine. This has happened 3 times now. And I get them involved with the project early on, else I don't do it. By the way, I mean, literally before I code anything, before I start anything, I need to know that the partner's on board. If I'm doing it myself, I don't do this. But week 3-ish is launching publicly some sort of discounted offer. Maybe it's like a lifetime grandfathered in 50% off or something. Or maybe it's like Bullfinity is going to be a lifetime deal, like $33. That's it, period. No subscription, just one payment. And then after that is when in my experience, after 1 month, really. After like that first 4 weeks-ish of work and alpha testing, just to work out some of the bugs and launching publicly, you'll know I can kill this. This was not working. I did this a couple of weeks ago for something called Sixfecta, and I actually thought this was going to be a really cool idea and a really cool app, and nobody bought it. Actually, one person bought it. Literally one. This is the biggest failed beta launch I've ever done. Oh no, actually, I changed my mind. 4 people bought it. It was 4 people. I was waiting for 25. I wasn't going to do the app. If less than 25 people bought it, 4 people bought it, and so I killed it. And I refunded everybody, just to be clear. That's it. And then I moved on. Now I'm doing something different. I think this is something that new entrepreneurs, they miss. They don't have a lot of experience under their belt yet, and how could they? And so it takes them a long time to figure out, should I quit this or should I persist in this business, this project, this product? Should I keep going and it's just really hard and I'm struggling? Or does this mean I should quit? That is the hardest question for beginner entrepreneurs. And I feel very blessed that I'm not a very beginner entrepreneur anymore. I've done this for a long time, 9 years of full-time entrepreneurship, and I've been doing this framework for 2 years. And so now I think I've gotten really good at realizing this ain't worth it. No, kill it. Kill it with the passion of 1,000 burning suns. Refund people's money. Delete the domain name. Literally delete it from your to-do list. Everything. You have to like kill these as soon as you know it's not going to be what you thought it might be. You have to kill it. And I think the faster that us entrepreneurs can learn to spot that, I think the better off we'll be. I'm lucky. I've done this for a while. I've gotten a lot better at this. But man, it's hard. I will say that. Okay. After that, it should be focusing on onboarding, branding, marketing, trying to get to 100 customers, 100 users, and then beyond. And if I'm being really honest, I'm not great at this part. Creating the documentation, creating onboarding emails and stuff like that. I'm not that great because that's not my passion, really. I do it because I have to, and I think it's incredibly important. And I think if you are better than me, and you probably are, you need to spend a lot of time on onboarding customers. It makes a huge difference. You want people to stick around for your products, your programs, your memberships, your apps, recurring revenue, that sort of stuff. And then after that, I work on the project until I burn out. I'm just being super honest. Sometimes that means letting it ride for a little while. I think 2 weeks or maybe a month. 1 month is the most I can let a project ride. And by let it ride, I mean completely stop working on it, even though I have paying customers. I had paying customers and I completely stopped working on the product. No marketing, no building, no new features, no nothing. I think 1 month is the absolute maximum that we should do that for. And then you should be back in the app. You should be emailing your existing customers. You should be improving the app, fixing bugs, answering customer support emails, new features, all that stuff. I think 1 month is the absolute maximum. And I try and hold myself to this. It's hard because I get bored. But I make a strong note that even if I'm getting tired of a project, I'm burnt out, I'm ready to move on to the next one, of course, 1 month. I have to come back in. I have to work on it every single month. That's my one rule for myself. And again, the goal is to do this as little as possible. The goal is to sell these apps less than 12 months, preferably, but hopefully after like 6 months, maybe 9. That's the goal. Sell these apps. Okay, moving on. Partnership leverage. Let's talk about marketing. I think, well, first of all, ignoring this, I think you should not launch a product unless you have an audience to sell it to. And it might not be your audience. It could be a partner's audience. It could be your spouse's audience, their coworkers, your coworkers, somebody. Your first like 10, preferably up to 100 people. 100 people. That means you have to talk to 1,000 people. Maybe not. But you talk to 100 people and hopefully you get like 10 buyers, customers, users, that sort of thing. If you don't have that, I think you should do something different. A large part of that for me is finding partners. I stumbled upon this strategy, I guess you could say, by accident about a year and a half ago, or almost 2 years ago. I found some partners for a business, and it was a little messy, a little sloppy. I've never really done it before. And since then, I partnered with my friend Liz on a different project, listgadget.com. And now this is like kind of incorporated into my overall strategy here. I want to have partners for just about everything I sell. Number one, it's just more skin in the game. And number two, hopefully they have an audience of these people, right? If not, you shouldn't use them, obviously. But equity, 100%, like 50-50 split. That's what, hope Liz doesn't mind me throwing her under the bus here. But we just do like a 50-50 split of the profits of List Gadget. And now she has incentive, right? It's her business. It's not just Pete's business and she's promoting it as an affiliate or whatnot. This is her thing. Her name's on it. And it's a good thing. It makes the app better. We reach more people, and we'll split the exit sales, like when we sell it or whatnot. And I don't know, this is like ingrained in my overall strategy is this idea of finding partners. For me, it's marketing partners. For you, it might actually be technical partners. Maybe you have a massive audience and you're watching everything I say, but you don't really want to like sign up for Code Playbook just yet and like dive into vibe coding apps. Then maybe you do find a technical partner. Hey, maybe you reach out to Pete and we can work together. There you go, pete@doevenblog.com. Email me your sweet idea and the humongous audience you want to sell it to, and maybe I'll be your technical partner. Last thing, kind of. And then I actually have some more really vital takeaways here. Built to sell. Build to sell. This is just me personally. I build everything to sell. I've already mentioned that. But here's exactly what that looks like. Number one, separate email address. And we're getting super granular here. Separate email address. If you sign up for any third-party tools, softwares, applications you need to, like if you're selling a course, Teachable or Thinkific or Podia or like Kajabi or whatever they have these days. I built my own, so I don't know. CoPlaybook's entirely like custom. Built my own thing here. Anyways, separate email addresses to sign up for everything. Create a new account for Google Analytics. Create a new account for Gmail. Create a new account for everything when it comes to a business. So that handoff is actually really easy. Documentation is another one. I make sure I have at least a little bit of documentation for each app, each project that I do. And internally, SOPs, standard operating procedures. As in, my users will never see this, but how do I run this business? If you can have this, here's one I sold recently. By the way, I created a ton of Loom videos. There's over like 2.5 hours, I think, of Loom videos here with transcripts and SOPs. And this is a massive doc that is everything a buyer would need to know on how I run this business. And here's the thing. This isn't just good practice. It's also a big selling point. If you're going to sell an app, if you have this stuff in line, it's more attractive to buyers. They want to see this stuff. They want to see that you have documentation, that when they buy it, if they buy it, the handoff, the transition is going to be seamless and fast and easy, and they'll just take over all your revenues and be good to go, know how to run the business, that sort of stuff, right? But again, as I mentioned, it's also just good practice for you, even if you don't sell a business. And there's a book about this, Built to Sell. Is that right? Built to Sell, Build to Sell? I think it's Built to Sell. I never read it, but I hear good things. I hear that this book is basically everything you would need to do to your business to sell it is actually just going to make it a better business. Building your business to sell will actually just make it a healthier, more profitable business, even if you don't sell. Right? I think that's what that book is. I could be wrong, but I stand by that point, even if that's not what the book is. Okay, let's go on to some takeaways really quick. I got 3. Number 1, know yourself. Okay, don't copy Pete's blueprint. That's stupid. This won't work for you. Some parts of it might. Know yourself and how you operate and play to your strengths. I'm really good at doing what I do. Everything I just mentioned in this little framework right here. Vibe coding apps, getting it in front of an audience, the first 100 people, I'm really good at. I've done it a dozen times. I'm really good at it. And it's what I enjoy doing. So when creating this for myself, I was asking the question, how can I play to my strengths? My strengths are building. My strengths are not marketing. So that's also kind of going back to my partner leverage strategy here. I'm playing to my weaknesses. I don't want to market. I'm not good at marketing. Or maybe I'm good at marketing. I don't know. But I can't stand it. So that's a weakness. How can I overcome that? Partnerships. How can I play to my strengths? Move fast. Move fast. Break things. Sell often. Launch quickly. Set myself up to sell the app or not do it at all. Again, just that one decision right there. Can I sell this app in 12 months? Yes or no? If the answer is no, I don't start. Again, it's just playing to my strengths and knowing myself. And one more long-term thing here that I mentioned. How can I succeed even if I fail? How can I launch a product or business or whatever, have it fail miserably and still succeed? Part of that for me is building in public and growing this personal brand audience and selling Code Playbook, which is like on the back end of everything I do that helps other people do this. So even if I fail at some of these products, I'm still succeeding. I'm still growing an audience. I'm still learning things, all that stuff. Next up, know thyself, and then know thy trade-offs. Everything I just mentioned has trade-offs. If you're better at marketing than I am, or you're more into marketing than I am, or you're more willing to do marketing than I am, you should do that. There are going to be trade-offs with what I have selected as my blueprint. It's not going to make me $1 billion. It's not, maybe not even $1 million in the near future. I'm not going to sell these apps, these companies for millions of dollars. I'm just not. They're going to be smaller amounts. Why? Because I'm not marketing, I'm not scaling, and I'm not growing past 12 months. There are trade-offs to every decision in business, Every strategy you choose to follow, you just need to know those. You have to be honest with yourself. Hey, if I do this, there is going to be a trade-off. What is it? What is that trade-off? They're always there. And then, if I'm being really honest, opportunities. I'm chasing opportunities right now. Started 2 years ago. It'll probably go for another 2 years, I'm guessing, of my life. This specific framework right here. It's just timing. I'm trying to execute as good as I can, but it's also just timing. I'm making hay while the sun shines, if you will. I'm taking advantage of the market right now, and AI being what it is, and the fact that I can vibe code software and apps and sell them when people still need them. 2 years from now, you might not need any of the things that I'm building because Siri on your Apple Watch might just do everything for you, right? I'm making hay while the sun shines, taking advantage of that. Ideas, okay. Skill, knowledge, okay. You need all those things, right? But I think timing and execution is just as important, if not more important. And so that's what I'm trying to do with all of this. So that's all I got. Please comment below this video if you found this interesting or helpful. Helps me in the algorithms and just makes me feel good too. Drop me a comment. Say hello. Email me, pete@doyouevenblog.com. Let me know what you thought. If you're interested in Code Playbook, shoot me an email. You can't sign up for it right this second. Maybe by the time you're watching this video, you'll go to codeplaybook.com and sign up. And other than that, bulletfinity.com, listgadget.com. I'm not going to promo any of my other ones because I'm not working on them at the moment. I've killed them. But I hope you found this interesting. Adios.